You wake up one morning, look in the mirror, and something is different. Your arms look smaller, your legs feel weaker, and the weight you used to carry without thinking now takes everything you've got. And you think to yourself, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I slept wrong. Maybe it's just a bad day. But deep down, you know something has changed. Something has shifted inside your body that wasn't there 5 years ago. And the terrifying truth is, this isn't a bad day. This is a pattern. This is your body sending you a signal that most people completely ignore until it's too late. And here's the part that makes it even worse. Most doctors won't sit you down and say, hey, your muscles are vanishing. They'll check your blood pressure. They'll look at your cholesterol. They'll tell you to watch your diet. But nobody is going to look you in the eye and say, the muscle you're losing right now is going to determine whether you live independently at 80 or whether someone else has to take you. Care of you. And I know that sounds dramatic, but I need you to hear this because what I'm about to share with you in the next 15 minutes could genuinely change the entire trajectory of the second half of your life. So stay with me because we are going to cover exactly why your muscles are disappearing after 60, what is happening inside your body on a cellular level right now as you're watching this, the 4 silent reasons this is accelerating faster than you realize, the warning signs that most people brush off as normal aging but are actually red flags, and then the complete step-by-step plan to reverse this and rebuild your strength without ever stepping foot inside a gym, without buying expensive equipment, and without destroying your joints in the process. And I want to start by telling you about something called sarcopenia, because this is the word your doctor should have said to you years ago. Sarcopenia is the medical term for age-related muscle loss, and it is one of the most widespread and most ignored health crises facing Americans over the age of 60 today. And here's how it works. Starting around age 30, your body begins losing muscle mass at a rate of about 3 to 5% per decade. Now, in your 30s and 40s, you barely notice this because life is busy. You're moving around, you're active, your hormones are still doing their job. But then something happens when you cross 60. The rate of muscle loss doubles. Some research shows you can lose up to 1 to 2% of your total muscle mass every single year after 60 if you are not actively doing something to stop it. And I want you to do the math on that for a second, because it is sobering. If you're 60 years old today and you do nothing, by the time you're 70, you could be carrying 10 to 20% less muscle than you have right now. By 75, that number climbs even higher. And we're not talking about vanity here. We're not talking about looking good in a t-shirt. We are talking about the muscle that keeps you upright when you trip on a curb, the muscle that lets you carry your own groceries, the muscle that lets you get off the floor if you fall, the muscle that keeps your blood sugar stable, the muscle that protects your knees and your hips and your spine. And here is a statistic that I think about all the time. Falls are the #1 cause of injury-related death in adults over 65 in the United States. Not heart disease, not cancer, falls. And the primary reason people fall as they age is because they've lost the muscle strength and the neuromuscular control to catch themselves. So when we talk about muscle loss after 60, we are talking about life and death. And I need you to take this seriously. Now let's talk about why this is actually happening, because understanding the why is what gives you the power to fight back. And there are 4 main reasons your muscles are vanishing, and most people are completely unaware of all 4 of them. The first reason is hormonal decline, and this affects both men and women more than most people realize. Testosterone is one of the primary anabolic hormones in your body. It is the signal that tells your muscles to grow and to maintain themselves. And after 60, testosterone levels in both men and women drop significantly, For men, it can decline by as much as 1 to 2% every year, starting in their 30s. So by the time you're 65, you could have 30 to 40% less testosterone than you did in your prime. And growth hormone follows the same pattern. Growth hormone is what tells your body to repair tissue, to rebuild what gets broken down, to invest in your muscles. And without it, your body essentially shifts into what I call survival mode. It stops building and starts breaking down. The second reason is that protein synthesis slows dramatically as you age. And this one is crucial to understand, so let me explain it clearly. Every time you use your muscles, tiny microscopic tears form in the muscle fibers. Your body then repairs those tears, and in the process makes the fiber slightly thicker and slightly stronger. That is literally how muscle growth works. But after 60, your body becomes significantly less efficient at this repair process. Studies show that older adults need substantially more protein to trigger the same level of muscle protein synthesis that a younger person gets from a smaller amount. Which means even if you think you're eating enough protein, you are probably not eating nearly enough to actually rebuild and maintain your muscle tissue. And we are going to come back to the exact numbers you need in just a few minutes. The third reason surprises almost everyone I talk to, and that is the deterioration of motor neuron connections. Your muscles don't work on their own. They are controlled by motor neurons, which are specialized nerve cells that send electrical signals from your brain and spinal cord down to your muscle fibers, telling them when to contract and when to relax. As you age, some of those motor neurons die off. And here's the critical part, they are not replaced. And when a motor neuron dies, the muscle fibers it was connected to lose their signal. They stop receiving instructions from the brain. And muscle fibers that don't receive activation signals do exactly what you'd expect. They atrophy, they shrink, they waste away. This is why older adults often notice that their movements feel less precise, less powerful, less coordinated. It's not just weakness, it's actually a rewiring problem in your nervous system. And the fourth reason is the one you have the most control over, and that is inactivity. Now, I'm not saying you're lazy. I'm saying life changes. Maybe you retired and your daily movement dropped. Maybe an injury slowed you down. Maybe chronic pain made you avoid certain movements. Maybe you just got into the habit of sitting more than you used to. But here's what your body does with that information. Your body is ruthlessly efficient. It does not maintain things it doesn't think it needs. And when your muscles aren't being challenged regularly, your body reads that as a signal that those muscles are unnecessary overhead, unnecessary energy expenditure, and it starts breaking them down and repurposing the resources. Use it or lose it is not a motivational poster slogan. It is a fundamental law of human biology. Now, before we get to the solution, I want to take a moment and ask you something directly, because I want you to be honest with yourself as I go through this list. Are you feeling more tired than usual doing everyday things that used to be effortless, like climbing a flight of stairs or walking from the parking lot to the store? Has your grip strength weakened? Do handshakes feel different? Are jars harder to open? Do you find yourself looking for something to hold on to? Are you walking slower than you used to without consciously trying to slow down? Because research shows that walking speed is actually one of the most accurate predictors of longevity in older adults. Does getting up from a chair or from the floor require noticeably more effort than it did 5 or 10 years ago? Have you had a fall or a close call in the past year where you stumbled or lost your balance in a way that scared you? If you nodded to even one of those, I need you to hear this clearly. Those are not just signs of getting older. Those are your body waving a red flag. Those are your muscles telling you they need help. And here is the most important thing I'm going to say in this entire video. It is not too late. I have seen people in their 60s, their 70s, even their 80s rebuild strength that they genuinely believed was gone forever. The science is unambiguous on this. Muscle tissue responds to resistance training at any age. Your body still knows how to build muscle. It just needs the right stimulus and the right fuel. And that is exactly what I'm going to give you right now. So let's talk about the 3 pillars of rebuilding your muscle after 60. And we're starting with the most important one, which is resistance training. Now, when most people over 60 hear resistance training, they picture a sweaty gym full of 25-year-olds dropping heavy barbells, and they think, that is not for me. And I completely understand that. But here's what I need you to understand. Your muscles do not know if the resistance they're working against comes from a $3,000 machine or from your own body weight. They just know they're being challenged. Physics is physics. And bodyweight training done correctly, with the right technique and the right progression, is genuinely one of the most effective ways to rebuild muscle strength. And I'm going to give you 5 foundational movements that you can do in your living room starting today. The first movement is the chair squat. And this is the king of lower body exercises for older adults, because it directly trains the exact movement pattern you use dozens of times every day. Stand in front of a sturdy chair with your feet about shoulder width apart. Slowly lower yourself down as if you're about to sit, taking a full 3 seconds on the way down. Lightly touch the seat without fully sitting, and then press through your heels to stand back up. This movement targets your quadriceps, your glutes, your hamstrings, and your core all at once. Start with 3 sets of 8 repetitions and focus on the slow, controlled descent, because that eccentric portion of the movement is actually where a significant amount of muscle stimulus happens. The second movement is the wall push-up, and this is perfect for rebuilding upper body pushing strength without the joint stress of a floor push-up. Stand an arm's length away from a wall. Place your hands flat on the wall at shoulder height and shoulder width apart, keeping your body in a straight line from head to heels. Slowly lower your chest toward the wall, taking 2 to 3 seconds, then push back to the starting position. This rebuilds your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. Start with 3 sets of 10, and as it gets easier, you can move your feet further from the wall to increase the challenge. The third movement is the heel raise, and I cannot overstate how important this one is. Stand behind a sturdy chair and lightly hold the back for balance. Rise up onto the balls of your feet as high as you can, hold that top position for 2 full seconds, then slowly lower back down over 3 seconds. This strengthens your calf muscles and your ankle stabilizers, which are critically important for balance and for preventing falls. Do 3 sets of 15 and really focus on that slow lowering phase. The fourth movement is the seated leg extension, and this is excellent for people who have knee pain or discomfort because it strengthens the quadriceps, which actually helps protect the knee joint without putting it under load. Sit upright in a firm chair. Extend one leg out in front of you until it's straight. Hold for 3 seconds, squeezing your quad. Then slowly lower it back down. Alternate legs and do 3 sets of 10 per leg. And the fifth movement is the hip bridge. And this one is a game changer for your glutes and your lower back, which are the foundation of virtually every movement your body makes. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Press through your heels and lift your hips up toward the ceiling until your body forms a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Squeeze your glutes hard at the top and hold for 2 seconds. Then slowly lower back down. Do 3 sets of 12 and focus on really feeling those glutes engage at the top of the movement. Now I want you to do these 5 exercises 3 days per week with at least one rest day between sessions. And those rest days are not optional. They are not laziness. Your muscles actually rebuild and get stronger during the recovery period, not during the workout itself. And the key principle that makes this work over time is called progressive overload, which just means you gradually increase the challenge week by week. You don't need to do more exercises, you just need to do a little more each week. One more rep, one more second on the hold, one more second on the lowering phase. Small, consistent progress, compounded over months, is what produces real lasting change. Now let's talk about the second pillar, which is protein. And I'm going to be direct with you because most people over 60 are significantly under eating protein and they have no idea. The standard recommendation you may have heard of 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, that number was established as the minimum to prevent deficiency in sedentary young adults. It is not the optimal amount for an older adult who is trying to maintain or rebuild muscle tissue. The current research is very clear that older adults need between 1.2 and 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every single day. For a 150-pound person, that works out to roughly 80 to 110 grams of protein per day. And here's the other critical piece that most people miss. Your body can only use a certain amount of protein for muscle building at any one time, roughly 25 to 40 grams per meal. So if you're eating 20 grams at breakfast and 20 grams at lunch and then loading up with 60 grams at dinner, you are not getting the full benefit. You need to distribute your protein intake evenly across 3 to 4 meals throughout the day. Think eggs and Greek yogurt at breakfast, chicken or tuna at lunch, fish or lean meat at dinner, and cottage cheese or a protein shake as an evening snack. And the third pillar is sleep. And I know this one doesn't sound as exciting as exercise and nutrition, but it might be the most underestimated factor of all. The majority of your muscle repair and rebuilding happens not during your workout, but during deep sleep, when your body releases the highest levels of growth hormone. If you are consistently sleeping less than 7 hours a night, you are essentially doing the work of exercising and eating protein, but then not allowing your body to complete the process. You are leaving muscle gains on the table every single night. Prioritize sleep the same way you prioritize your workout, because biologically speaking, it is just as important. So let me pull this all together into a simple 30-day plan that you can start implementing immediately. In weeks 1 and 2, your only job is to build the habit. Do the 5 exercises 3 days a week. Consciously add 20 grams of protein to your daily intake above whatever you're currently eating, and try to get to bed 30 minutes earlier than you normally do. That's it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to be perfect. Just build the habit. In weeks 3 and 4, you start pushing slightly harder. Add 1 more rep to each exercise. Try to hit your full daily protein target at least 5 out of 7 days. And add a 15-minute walk on your off days, because walking is one of the most underrated things you can do for your overall health and longevity. And here is what I promise you. If you follow this plan consistently for 30 days, you will feel stronger, you will move better, you will have more energy, and you will have laid the foundation for months and years of continued progress, because your muscles have memory. The scientific term is muscle memory, but what it really means is that your body remembers how to be strong. The pathways are still there. The potential is still there. You just have to wake it up. I have personally seen people in their 70s and 80s make strength gains that genuinely shocked their doctors. This is not wishful thinking. This is well-documented science. And you are not the exception. So here is what I want you to do right now. Drop a comment below and tell me which of the 5 exercises you are going to start with today. I read every single comment and I respond to as many as I can. If this video gave you value, hit that like button because it helps this channel reach other people who need this information just as much as you did. And if you want to keep getting evidence-based content on how to stay strong, mobile, and independent as you age, hit that subscribe button because I put out a new video every single week. You have more in the tank than you think. Your best years are not behind you. Now go prove it. I'll see you in the next one.